What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've never been a guy who was fully convinced by protein powder, and I didn't consider its intake to be necessary, especially for me, just because my actual diet already includes a lot of natural protein. But about a month ago I started drinking protein shakes. I don't go to a fancy restaurant, I actually make them myself with normal protein powder that you can buy online. Looking back, I think the reason why I didn't start consuming protein supplements earlier is just because there's so many misconceptions about it out there. What I've heard and what I've observed is that a lot of people think you're gonna drink a protein shake without even working out and it's gonna make you physically blow up. And comments like these just irritate me because I for a fact know that you have to put the effort and the consistency into it as well, otherwise nothing's gonna happen. So I wouldn't say I consider protein supplements to be a hoax, but I did always have my doubts about them. I'm still not 100% convinced, but to clear the air and to educate myself, I've actually done some research. So I'll be discussing the most popular types of proteins and protein supplements, and then afterwards I'll actually be doing a protein shake just how I like it, and I'll drink it while recommending some of my favorite products. So I hope you find this video helpful and somewhat informative, so let's get into it. Number one on my list is whey protein. Whey protein comes from milk, and it's a liquid that separates from the curds during the cheese making process. Whey protein is digested quickly and it causes a rapid rise in amino acids, which helps the growth of muscle mass and muscle strength. Next up is casein. Judging from what's left of my high school biology knowledge, I'm gonna go with casein. It also comes from milk, and this protein is digested slower than whey. Casein is a low digesting dairy protein and it reduces the muscle protein breakdown. Of course, it can also help with building muscle mass and strength. However, it can also help with fat loss during calorie restriction. Next up is egg protein, so protein from eggs, which has the highest protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. That score measures the digestibility and the quality of a protein, and egg protein has the highest score. Egg protein is also digested easily, but it might not keep you full for as long, especially in comparison to other protein supplements. Next up is pea protein. Pea protein is especially popular amongst the vegans and the vegetarians and people who are sensitive to animal or egg protein. There are not as many studies on this type of protein, but most likely it also promotes fullness and helps you build muscle mass and strength to a certain extent. Next up is hemp protein. Hemp protein is also plant-based, and even though it's related to marijuana, it only contains minimal traces of the psychoactive THC component. It would actually be really fun to try this. I'm just imagining myself working out, having a hemp protein shake, and then... What's really good though is that hemp protein is high in omega-3s and also easily digested. However, it's pretty low in the essential amino acids lysine and leucine, so I'm pretty sure it's a gag, but probably not the best supplement to go with. Next up is brown rice protein. This supplement is actually too low in the amino acid lysine to be considered a complete protein, but apparently it still has a good effect on your body composition, so maybe a good additional thing to take. There are also not as many studies on that one, so I can't really say more. So from what I've read, the most recommended type of protein for muscle growth is whey protein. And the most recommended one for fat loss is also whey, but also casein for fullness. But at the end of the day, I feel like you just need to try and see what works best for your body. Speaking of whey, it's time to move on to the actual protein shake that I'm going to be making for myself. About a month ago, I started using Whey Gold Standard Protein by Optimum Nutrition. I actually have 2 packs because I like to combine the flavors. I have banana cream and French vanilla. This was definitely the product that I've seen the most online, and it was recommended to me a bunch of times also by people that I know who consume protein powder, so I went with that one. The protein and sugar ratio is definitely the best. You also have to be careful with the flavors because some flavors don't have as much protein because there's more sugar or carbs or whatever is in there. So yeah, I like to combine my flavors, so let's get into it. I know that you usually do protein shakes with milk, but I don't know, that's a bit too heavy for me. Since whey is also a dairy protein, I don't want to develop a dairy intolerance because I love dairy. I can't live without dairy. So usually I combine milk with water. This is how much milk I usually use. I don't know how much this is, really not that much. This is a pretty narrow glass. I'm just gonna put this on here so you see it well. Then to that, I usually add water up to here, not more, because otherwise with all the protein powder, it's gonna overflow when I mix it and we don't want the mess. And the way I started consuming protein powder, and the reason why I actually considered it after not being a fan of it for so long, is because I use it as a substitute for dessert. I have a sweet tooth. I could literally eat a piece of cake or a couple of cookies after every meal. So what I do now is I have my big nutritious meal after I work out, and then instead of a cake or something else, I consume a protein shake. And that works perfectly. But the hint I can give you is find a flavor that you like. I love banana flavor, and I've also found it to be the least artificial one, because I've also tried deep or dark chocolate, whatever it is, double, triple, quadruple chocolate, and I don't know, you can still taste that it's protein powder, and I just don't like that. So I love the banana cream flavor, and with a bit of vanilla, it adds some extra sweetness, and then it's just right. All of the whey products come with a scooper, and into my shake, I never add a full scoop because it's a bit much. I do like this, which is like 3/4. It's almost a full scoop. I think it's so satisfying to see how the powder molds to the spoon. It's a bit like this kinetic sand. Then we go in with the French vanilla. What's funny is that these two flavors have the exact same nutritious information, also protein-wise, which is perfect. So, and then I add a bit of the French vanilla. So in total, I have probably a scoop of protein in there, like of a scoop of this. And yeah, it blends well, it tastes great, and as I said, I use it instead of a dessert. I don't go on and drink 3 protein shakes in addition to everything else I'm eating, because that would just make me gain weight, you know? That's also why I'm so irritated by people thinking they're gonna drink a protein shake and get buff. Like, no, if you don't work out and drink protein shakes, you're just gonna gain weight. So yeah, these misconceptions have thrown me off, but it doesn't mean that I need to believe in them, so I'm just using it my own way, and I feel like that's the strategically smartest way to use it. Because even though protein shakes aren't, you know, healthy in the sense of low calorie, but they're definitely more healthy than a piece of cake, and the nutritious information is definitely better than a cookie. So there's a lot of protein in there. So once I go in with this hand milk foamer, I know you can also throw this in a blender, but as I said, I don't like making a mess, so this is definitely the quicker way, because the blender, you have to clean it, and I'm not up for that. You know, preferably I try to not get any lumps in there, but once you have this amazing milky texture, it's just right, so let's try it. Perfect. It really tastes good, and the best part is, I feel like I'm eating something sweet, but it's not too sweet, you know? It gives me protein, and I don't have the desire to eat a cake or whatever dessert afterwards, which means to me it fulfills its purpose. So yeah, I definitely recommend hopping on the protein shake, protein powder train if you're using it the right way, or if you can't reach your minimum protein intake only through diet. But yeah, with that being said, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was somewhat informative. I definitely enjoyed the process of it, not only because I had a protein shake, but also because I learned a lot. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and take care. Bye.